Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Hello and welcome to this video. I hope everyone's doing alright. I hope everyone's having fun. And I hope the universe is treating you fairly. Today's video is going to be my initial thoughts, initial reaction to my new action camera. I don't like the term action camera because the term implies that it can do more than it really can. However, the ones that I do have, they're all, except this one that I got, well, even it's a couple of years old. These are all two of them, my two oldest ones, are probably about 5 to 10 generations behind what's currently available on the market. And the newest one I got is about 2, maybe 3 generations, or 3, maybe 4 generations, because I've seen the 7s out. But the first one that I got this is my GoPro 4 Black. Very simple, easy to use, and for what I do, it is a really good camera for doing sit-down videos. This is pre-digital image stabilization days. I want to say GoPro is on their 16th generation. And this is the 4th generation, so yeah, and they release about one a year. So 12 years, this is 12 years out of date. But for doing this type of video, just sitting down and talking, I do a lot of my outside videos on this. My other ancient one that I have is the when I try to pronounce it, I can't. Aksao. Yeah, Aksao. This is the XE7000, or EX7000, excuse me. This is the generational counterpart to this. So I got both of these just prior to the dark days of 2020. Wife got me this one off of eBay for a present, and I picked this one up myself because it was cheap. Both those cameras are really good. This one actually shines doing film in low light, filming like when the sun's going down when I'm out with my chickens. Unfortunately, this one isn't designed to run a mic. Now there's firmware updates that I can do, which I may do, where you can plug a mic in. But it's like I said, this I paid $75 for. Okay. This is the new one. This right here is my new one. This right here is the Aksao Brave 4. I think they just put out the 8. I think the 7 is is the big one. This is the 4. I think this is the generational equivalent to the GoPro 6, maybe GoPro 7, because these are just a little bit behind tech-wise the GoPros. It has a fairly easy. This is like the 3rd, 4th video I've tried to make. I tried to do one where I showed the setup and the screen and all that, but the way my video camera is configured, and I couldn't figure out, because all you do is get blur light across here. This cost me $56. It came with a bunch of attachments, a bunch of stuff like this, a bunch of these mounts for tripods, which is interesting because it has a screw for a tripod right here in the bottom, which is extremely beneficial. So I don't have to muck around with this like I do with this camera or this camera. Though the biggest drawback that I've had with this here is it's a hair longer going this way than these two, and won't fit in my gimbal. Which this here is nice because you can mount it on a tripod and set it and if the ground's uneven or something like that, or your tripod's kind of wonky, this will stabilize it. Plus, if you're walking, it'll stabilize. That's the only big downside to this that I've come across so far. So yeah, I've got some video clips I'm going to share with you. The first video clip, I'm going to show some photos too. The first video clip is, we got a downpour the other day, just out of nowhere, and it downpoured for a good while. So what I did is I wanted to see how well the built-in mic picked up sound. So I just opened my front door, left the screen door, the glass part of the screen door and stuff closed, put it up against the glass, hit record. And I think it came out pretty well for a $56 4K camera. It shoots its default, or actually on 4K, the highest it can do is 30 frames per second, which this is what I'm going to render this video at. Normally I render 4K at 60 frames a second, but as good as DaVinci Resolve is, and it does a good job of filling in the spaces when I upscale. However, I want you, the viewer, to see it kind of in its default setting. When I do later videos after this one, they'll have been upscaled. So, but this for the purpose of this video here is going to be rendered in 4K at 30 frames a second. TV is 4K 24 frames a second, just to give you an idea what quality where you're sitting at. The pictures, I have found that all action cameras, regardless of who makes them, all action cameras, if what you're taking a picture of is in perfect lighting, there's no movement, they do a not so bad job of taking a picture. But anything other than ideal circumstances, not so much. But before we get too much into that, let's go ahead and watch watch and listen to the rain and see. Like I said, I'm standing inside the house, doors open, and the camera is pressed against the glass on the screen door. So let's check that out. Okay, we're back from the rain. Like I said, it was visually it wasn't too much, but it was dark because of the cloud cover. In time of day, it's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It was relatively dark, but I think as far as lighting goes, without any external lighting to aid the camera, I think it did a pretty good job. So yeah. Now, I'll get ready and share the photos with you. And the photos, I'll let you judge for them. Judge for yourself about the photos. There's about the only photo that I'm really displeased with is there's a picture of a pecan tree. When we first moved out here, we planted. It was when we first planted it. It was about 4 to 6 inches above the ground. Now it's pretty good size. This was taken early in the morning. I have the sun to my back. If you look at the shadow of from the tree, you can see that facing east or facing west. Excuse me. Neil deGrasse Tyson will haunt me forever for that. But I was looking toward the west, and you can see the shadow on the ground. For me, somebody who takes a lot of pictures with a digital SLR camera, somebody who grew up taking pictures on a film SLR camera, this image is washed out for me. It's just the onboard the light leveling and all that sharpness and stuff that the camera does internally does not do real good in bright sunlight. So there's that going on. Like I said, we'll go ahead and look at the pictures, and I'll let you judge for yourself. Leave any comments about the pictures or any of the video in the comment section below. I almost said description below, but in the comment section. All right, we're back from the pictures. Of all the pictures on there that I just really like, there's a picture of my Blitz kitty. It's dark on either side. There's a sliver of light shooting out of the kitchen. He's sitting in it. I just wished I could have got him to look up at me. I really like that picture. The other pictures, there's one picture of the Houdini cat. He's in the foreground. Coming up into frame is the Blitz kitty. And he's kind of blurry and fuzzy. That's why I think these action cameras taking still photos, it's not the best in the world. I mean, and I'm not a big fan of cell phone cameras, but I think cell phone cameras kind of edge these guys out. But that's my opinion. Leave it at that. Take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research. And people are going to like what they're going to like. Just, it is what it is. This next section of film is me holding the camera, just basically holding the camera in my hand, pretty much just like this. Actually, I'm holding it in my left hand. And we're just basically walking, just I walked out to the chicken coop, got some images of the baby chickens, put it in the wire too high to get good images of the big chickens, but you know, it is what it is. I was testing, this is according to all the paperwork with it, this has digital image stabilization level 2. I don't know what that is. Don't know if that is an internal thing to the company or if that's a universal standard or whatever. Don't know if it's supposed to be good. Don't know if it's supposed to be bad. I just know it says level 2. So let's get on with that footage. Okay, we are back from the chicken coop, or the video. Came out pretty good. The chicken noises and stuff are fairly loud, so I went ahead and muted it. I should have said that before we played it. If you heard chicken noises, I decided to unmute it and just turn the volume down on it. So you could either A, go, oh, he muted it, or B, oh, he went change his mind and unmuted it. So, you know, it is what it is. This next bit of footage that I'm going to share, I did with my chest harness. I thought I had it handy, but it's basically just a harness with a tripod mount on it. And at the top of the camera is probably where it says disappointed up here. That's about right between that and width. That is probably about where the top of the camera is. I had to play around with the adjustment because evidently with the way the angles is, if you have it a little bit one way or the other way, you either get the ground or the sky. So you've got to play with it a little bit. I will probably at some point do a more detailed video when I get out a chance to play with it more and have more fun with it. I may even try to do a regular Genx episode with it, you know, like a book or movie or something, comic book or what have you. But my biggest thing on this was standing still with the image stabilization. Would my breathing, would my natural breathing have any effect on the image or on the video? I'm not sure. Sometimes I watch the video and go, yeah, and sometimes I'm like, maybe not. I don't know. It's just, it may just be my eyes aren't good enough. So if you see something or don't see something and want to put something in the comments, go for it. Have fun. So let's get this one let's get this one now off and going. So I hope you enjoyed this video. All in all, I can say for the price point on this bad boy, it's hard to go wrong for doing podcasts, doing just these sit down discussion type videos. This also has the thing where I can plug it in USB to my computer and use it as a webcam. So yeah, which is interesting. I may have to try it out on my laptop. I have an ancient laptop that was originally a teacher's laptop that I had been locked. It had been locked because you needed the access for the school. It was Madison school, Madison ISD, Independent School District, that this computer was from. And because it didn't have the access code from their internet, it would lock. You would start it and go, but if you tried to do any of the programs, it needed that internet connection, and it was the way everything was done. It had to have that specific internet connection. So basically, I went into the BIOS, told it to boot from a USB drive, formatted the hard drive, booted it up, and installed Linux on it. And because it's so old, I want just to see how this is probably smarter than that computer. So yeah, I may have to try it on now to see, because it's supposed to record to here. All the computer is doing is you get to see it on your computer screen, but it's recording here. So if it's recording in 4K onto here when plugged into the computer, and basically it's using the computer for power and a alternative display screen. So yeah, I'll see how that. I might have to see how that works at some point. It has an upside down feature, and it also has a waterproof to 30 meters shell that goes around it for going underwater. What I may do is at some point take it to like Stubblefield Lake or somewhere like that and put it in there, set it to upside down mode, because it's going to be dangling. It's basically something like this, except it's all enclosed. And you got a get everything lined up. Basically what my idea is to do is run some fishing string through here, so it's upside, so it hangs like this, then lower it down into the water, probably 3 or 4 foot, so the more I'm willing to risk, then pull it back out just to see what kind of footage I get, see what kind of underwater stuff we got. Or I might no, I thought about saying, yeah, I can just take it in the shower. No, don't think you want to see that. Pretty hideous. I am pretty hideous to look at with my clothes on, so you know. But that's what I may do, is just take it out to one of the reservoirs around here and just drop it off a bridge, then let do some filming. If I get around to doing that, if I get brave enough to do that, I'll do a big production for it. So it'll probably be part of a more detailed review. But this is kind of just my initial reaction to this video. With shipping, handling, and everything, like I said, it was $56 even from Amazon. So you might be able to find it cheaper on eBay or someplace else like that. So remember, to be a good human, to be good to other humans. Peace.
Hey, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?